Now let's move on to the sphere. What about the sphere option?
So when we're talking about from an operations standpoint, we're talking about always having a plan to keep your sphere of influence engaged. These are people who you already have a current relationship with. They know who you are when they receive something from you. And when we talk about it from an operations standpoint, we're really looking at ways to automate the ability to stay in touch with your sphere. So tools at Harry Norman that might come to mind would be things like your Social Agent 360, where you can set up an e-newsletter to stay in contact with folks. You can also set up programs like a postcard program, where you can be sending out postcards to stay in touch with that sphere of influence. Other tools that come to mind, Sure Contact, Top Producer. If you're in the subscription with Top Producer, you may choose to do that. Also, as basic as YouTube videos, right? Where you might have a monthly YouTube video where you, as an agent, talk about something maybe impacting the market, where you can send out a link. The key with the sphere of influence, as it relates to the operation, is having a systematic plan to touch your sphere of influence at least once every 3 weeks. So that basically comes out to be about once a month at a minimum, touching them through those avenues. And don't forget social networking as well.
Exactly.
Making sure you're staying in contact with them over Facebook or LinkedIn if it's a more professional relationship. And that could be as simple as sending an email or commenting on a post that they have posted on their wall.
The next one would be deals, the transactions and documents.
So, once we've enticed a lead to actually hire us to be their agent, and once we start working with them, the next transition is that we hope to go under contract with them, either as a seller or a buyer. And so when we talk about deals from an operations standpoint, we're talking about what are tools out there and what tools do you have at your disposal to manage the contract as you're working through it. And so when we talk about that, we're looking at transaction management systems.
Yes.
Typically, you have software built into your MLS system that allows you to keep a record of how the transaction is progressing as far as the forms go. Then we're looking at how do we get those forms signed back and forth. So we're looking at tools like DocuSign, also the e-signing tools that are incorporated into the MLS system. Just remember that with those e-signing tools, there are some limitations. It's only for the documents that you upload into the MLS system and the forms that are in the MLS system, whereas DocuSign, really, it's a separate paid membership. Okay. But I encourage a lot of agents to really take that next step and go ahead and get the DocuSign membership because it allows more transportable skills, meaning DocuSign has options for platforms outside of your computer and, allows you to send a lot more documents and a lot of different types of documents versus your limitations with what are in your e-sign tools. But of course, it's cost versus, what you're willing to pay. DocuSign is an additional fee. E-signature tools are typically part of your membership in your MLS system. Okay. So again, looking for ways to stay in touch with people throughout a transaction. Another great tool that many of our agents are using is Evernote.
Yes.
Where you're able to maintain and document when you had a phone call with a client, emails, take snapshots of emails, and really maintain in a virtual folder in Evernote really all the details of your transaction, even if it was just reflecting on conversations that you may have had with a client and just taking some basic notes. So again, some great tools, but really when we're talking about deals, we're talking about sitting down and thinking about how can I manage the process.
Okay. And please remember that Evernote can be used cross-platforms. The next one would be the past clients.
When we talk about past clients, this is a huge weakness that we as a real estate industry have. And it's that once we have completed the transaction, we forget that we still need to stay in touch with those clients. Because yes, it's true, they're probably not going to be looking for a house if they just bought a house, right? But they are going to have friends and family who need your services. And then eventually they will need your services to sell the home that they've just bought with you. So it's really key to make sure that you are engaging your past clients and keeping them engaged. And the best way to really jumpstart that is to actually ask those clients to go to websites like Yelp or to your webpage and write a testimonial about the service you just provided them. And so really, that initial conversation with them becomes your first touch after the sale. I'm so excited you had a great experience with me. I'm glad you found the home that you wanted to be in. And I have one favor to ask of you. Would you mind going to Yelp or to another real estate website, wherever you keep testimonials, and just let other people know about the experience you had with me? Because whether it's in social networking or places like websites like Yelp, I think independent client reviews are having more and more weight in the virtual world. And I think more and more people are beginning to seek out opinions on those sorts of websites about the real estate professional that they're thinking about working with. So I think it's a huge value, and it really starts that next process, which is that full circle of moving those past clients really into the realm of your sphere of influence and keeping in contact with them.
All great information. Remember that you can find all of the forms and documents that you need for helping you with any of these programs on the My H&R office under the training tab. Any additional information that you may need, you can contact Chris or myself in the Career Services Department at training@harrynorman.com.